Okay, so today, in order to deepen and connect further with ourselves, we are going to do this activity that I somewhat borrowed and modified a little bit from something that Layla Martin does. So right away, I'm saying go check out some of her stuff. She's got really cool stuff, laylamartin.com. She did this as a part of a meditation. This was like a question that was within one of her meditations. And I just really loved that question and wanted to pull it out and play with it some more. And the question is, what part of you needs an I love you? I think it's a really sweet question. I'm imagining that if I ask someone this in person, they might give me a weird face. So I don't know, you might think this is a weird question. Hopefully not. Hopefully you know me by now and you're willing to come along with me on these things and know that there's really interesting stuff in weird questions, and it's a part of the play. But if not, I'm talking you down out of that right now. I'm asking you, please trust me a little. Let's examine this question a little bit. At 3 different levels, I want us to kind of take a look at this. Level 1, what part of you needs an I love you in the physical sense? What physical part of you needs love or care? All right, and so what part of me physically needs an I love you? That could be some part of me that I hate on all the time, I hate my legs, I'm embarrassed of my legs, I'm always talking trash about my legs. They obviously might be the part that needs an I love you. Or it could be a part of me that I just use like crazy. I've overworked it. I've been standing on my feet all day and I'm feeling the throbbing in my feet. So they are obviously the part of me that needs an I love you today. Or it could be something like chronic, something like, oh, my shoulders need an I love you. They always need an I love you. I carry so much tension. They're always tight and painful. Or it could be like an injury that you have that my neck is injured and I have to take care of it all the time. They are the part of me that needs some love and care. So we're asking ourselves on the physical level, what part of us needs an I love you? And it's great because already it just calls some awareness to it. It makes us stop and take the time to ask and really check in with our bodies and have some awareness or put some awareness or focus on our bodies and really see how we're doing, what part of us needs an I love you. And then we're going to go on to the second level of asking this question, what part of me non-physically needs an I love you, okay? The non-physical, maybe emotional or spiritual, whatever that's not a physical side of yourself, some sides of yourself that are not your body, the part of me that needs an I love you is the part of me that is so fatigued and drained and discouraged because I keep trying to do this thing and it's just not working. Or the part of me that needs an I love you is this part of me that just feels overrun and overworked and overwhelmed. I've got so much stuff that I'm managing and there's nobody to help me. Or the part of you that needs an I love you might be the part that feels so lonely and alone right now because in your friendships, you're just not really feeling very supported. I mean, there's so many parts of us. And by the way, you can have many. You can have many answers. This is not what part singular, even though that's the way the question was asked. There are likely many parts of you that need an I love you, and let's explore them and legitimize them all. So the non-physical parts of you that need an I love you, and you may need to reflect on this and think about it and really, what part of me needs an I love you. But then that third level that we want to look at this is actually the non-thought level, almost level of instinct and intuition only. We want to try to clear thoughts and answer quick response from the gut. What part of me needs an I love you? And it doesn't even have to make sense. I mean, if it's nonsensical, great. That means that thought wasn't there. It was coming from a deeper place, because that's kind of what we're trying to get at. And for this part, how do I get to that answer that's more of the instinctual, intuitive, non-thought thing, we might have to do some meditation like this originally was derived from. Maybe that's one way, but I know that sometimes people get really bogged down with like even the idea of meditation. It just seems like too big or too lofty or too involved, too sophisticated. I have no idea. But really, to me, I always say this, it's like meditation is just listening. It's just deep listening when your thoughts can clear. And so, yeah, maybe you sit in a state of deep listening and listen for the answer to this question. But then again, maybe that gets you too entangled with thoughts. And so instead, maybe you distract and let that sort of take the thoughts away. And sometimes, that is what people do to get into meditation. Like they count their breaths, or they do like an exhale for 8 counts, an inhale for 4 counts, or an exhale for 4 counts and an inhale for 8 counts. And, just like distract their mind, get their mind occupied with other things so that it can kind of clear, or just listen to the breath, or watch your stomach move in and out as you breathe. Or it could be something totally different, like run around your house or do 15 jumping jacks, and then ask yourself the question, like really quick answer, don't think, give me the answer after the 15 jumping jacks, but just trying to get at an answer. What part of my body needs an I love you? And it is absolutely okay for it to be nonsense, like my pinky finger or my, upper back. And you're like, why my upper back? I don't even know. It's not tight there. There's not a lot of, it doesn't make sense. Okay, good. Because we wanted that without the thought from your gut kind of answer too. So now we have these 3 different answers. We probably have way more than 3 answers because each one has many, parts that need an I love you. But we have these 3 different levels, like body and non-physical, and this like instinct, like non-thought process answer. And okay, how do they differ? How are they similar? Do they line up? Are they completely different? We have all these different things. And what are we going to do with it? We're going to say, I love you. Okay? We're going to give that I love you that the thing needed. If it's in our body, if it's something physical, we're going to like touch it, put a hand over it, rub it, give it some massage or, something like that. Give it some physical attention, a physical I love you. If it's not a physical thing at all, if it's like, this part of you that's feeling so fatigued and discouraged, then we can give it some I love yous. We can give it some verbal ones and be literal with your words. Say I love you to this thing. Say more than just that if you want to. Say, I love you. I recognize you. I know you're so tired. I love you for being so persistent. I love you for being willing to take on so much. Or, just like you can explain the love, or you can just give it and say, I love you. I know it sucks, like whatever is going to, just try many things, whatever is going to give some soothing to that part of you that needs an I love you. And then use the instinctual one too, the one that like didn't have any thought to it and was maybe nonsensical. I mean, it might already make good sense to you because it was so revelatory. You said it was your upper back, and now you're like, oh my gosh, it's like the backside of my heart because I'm always putting my love forward. But the backside, the part of my heart that doesn't come forward, the secret shadow side, the part of it that, like saying that you have someone's back, the trust side, the part of my heart that needs something else to lean back up against, or needs some trust, needs something to have its back. That part definitely needs an I love you. And I said my upper back, and that's like what it means to me. Or you may not know what it means to you, and you may have to inquire some more. But I still want, no matter what, whether you know, whether you don't know, ask all the questions. Ask them even when we're dealing with the other ones too that were more clear to you, like the part of me that's got way too much to do. Okay, that part of you, if it had a physical location in your body, where would it be? Unify the different levels if you can. Unify them so that we're not just asking the question on the physical level and then these others and keeping them all separate, the non-physical and the, intuitive one. Let's ask it and see if we can like unify them. If that part of me that is overworked had a physical place in my body, where would it be? And, see what you find there. Okay, that would be my hands. Okay, well then let me massage my hands, because it's like just gives us another access point to send love into, because we can say I love you, and we should. But if we know the physical access point, then we can touch and give physical love to that place and know that it's a vulnerable spot on us physically. And I don't know, send it warmth or light or whatever it is. You try any of these methods that people have used, for centuries, like sending light to a spot, or heating it or warming it or whatever. And you're just going to have those as bonuses, as extras, ways for you to access this part. So if this part of you, physically, we're linking that to, if you've got like your shoulders kill, okay, but it's linked to the part of you that feels like it has too many things to do, well, then we know how to access it from the non-physical as well. Even though you can massage your shoulders and get a great massage going and give them tons of physical love, you could also know how to give them non-physical love too, and say, like, you have too much going on and I know it and I love you. Thank you for supporting so much, and I love you. I love you no matter what, whether you drop all of those things or whether you keep carrying them. I just love you. I see what you're doing. I notice that you've got all those things on your shoulders, and that's what we're doing for ourselves. We are just giving ourselves all the I love yous and figuring out all the different access points, even the access points that don't have thought to them and make no sense, like for some reason I said my pinky finger. I don't know what that means, but it could be an access point, or my upper back, like, whoa, there was all this metaphor involved in my upper back. And I think that is a really soft and vulnerable place for me. It represents this like child in me, because that's where I used to feel, the lump in my upper back when I used to start to cry. And so maybe it's a child in me that's crying or upset or just, a deeper wounded part. And actually, I'm going to be honest, when I did this exercise, I did cry. I cried. It, like, saying I love you to certain parts brought out, just like crying. It was relieving. I don't even know what I was crying about. It was just relieving. Something actually really needed an I love you in there, for real. And, it did have to do more metaphorically. I did have some weird spot in my upper back and chest that it was like, I don't even know what that means. And it was, I think, as I explored more, maybe attached to some childhood stuff. And so be willing to go there too, Is there a deep child within you that, whatever, felt like they were exerting themselves too much and, not coming across or getting the things done? There was a part of them that felt powerless. To me, it was a part of me that felt powerless, like impotent. I couldn't do what I set out to do or something like that. And so, inquire deeply and fully and ask all the questions, and really explore, see what you can find. There are surely parts of you that need an I love you. And like, the more you ask, the more information you really get about those parts, and the more healing and I love you is possible. You can actually give it the I love you, and maybe it heals it. I mean, maybe that's the word you like, or maybe it's just like the more love you're able to feel because you know where those points are that need the love, and you can send them directly to it, or send the love directly to those points.